matter what my glasses are without.
Welcome. Welcome.
Welcome.
We're so glad that you're joining us here today. Again, you are listening to Operation Power, Black Radical Voice, here on Black Power Media. And we're so glad that you're joining us. My name is Inez Barron, and I'm here with my co-host, my husband, the bold, the outspoken, the unbought, the indomitable, the one and only unbought and unbossed,
Charles Barron, and it's always an honor, a humbling pleasure to me to be with my wife of 42 years. Matter of fact, November 13th will be our 43rd wedding anniversary. And it's an honor to be on with Inez, who's bold, stunningly beautiful,
Thank you.
and brilliant.
Thank
Inez
you.
Barron.
Thank you. Our topic today is from plantation politics to liberation politics, how to beat the Democratic machine. It's based on the experiences that we've had running for office and getting the seat and holding the seats in our community in East New York section of Brooklyn for 21 years, a lot of time in the New York State Assembly and the New York City Council. And that's what it's based on. But we believe that we didn't get here by ourselves, by the work that we've done, but that we're standing on the work of our ancestors. We're standing on their shoulders. We're standing on people whom we don't even know their names, but they put in the work. So we do open our program with a libation, because the libation calls the ancestors. It acknowledges that they have been there and done the work and have brought us thus far and passed the mantle on to us. So we do have a libation video that we would like to share with you to invoke the ancestors being with us. Can't hear it, Boomy.
Nothing happens without a libation.
Thank you.
So for this very important presentation, we begin by the pouring of libation. We pour libation first to our first ancestor, to that hidden one who, though hidden, manifests in all things as all things, that God, goddess idea in the universe by any and all names. To our first ancestor, we pour libation. Ashe.
Ashe.
We pour libation too to our ancestors because they were the first people on this planet, mothers and fathers of all mankind, flashpoint of the human family. To those ancestors, we pour libation. Ashe.
Ashe.
Libation too to our ancestors because they were the ones who first gave birth to the idea of civilization, knew we would need a form of governance, and they nurtured that idea along the Nile until it reached its zenith in Kemet. There they built these gigantic monuments as evidence of that great civilization, and they carved instructions on the walls of temples and tombs for us, so we would never forget. To those ancestors, we pour libation. Ashe.
Ashe.
Pour libation too to our ancestors because over time they put together all the tenets of civilization and they took those ideas and left the continent. They were the people of the first Exodus. They left Africa and went all over the world and peopled the world. To those ancestors, we pour libation. Ashe.
Ashe.
Pour libation too to our ancestors because they did not sit on their laurels. They continued to improve, continued to evolve. And at each point of evolution, they again would leave the continent and settle and resettle the planet. They met themselves coming and going. To those ancestors, we pour libation. Ashe.
Ashe.
Pour libation too to those ancestors because over time, they found themselves the object of a forced exodus when they were kidnapped, shackled, cargoed, shipped out of Africa and enslaved in diasporas around the world. To those ancestors, we pour libation. Ashe. pour libation to the ancestors left at home, the very young, the aged, the infirm, left to reinvent themselves, depleted of us, human resources. But they were enjoined by us in the diasporas, both objects of a global myopia.
Ashe,
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 oh.
ashe,
To those
oh.
ancestors.
Thank you. Thank you. We honor our ancestors and call upon you to reflect on who those ancestors were, those that you know, and just give honor to those that gave their life. And we don't even know their names, but we acknowledge that. Once again, you're listening to Operation Power, a voice for Black radical change. And we're so pleased to be a part of this organization and this platform to share our ideas with you. Operation Power is the name of the program, and we do have a video that we would like to share with you, which talks about some of our history, some of our accomplishments, and the things that we have done in the East New York section of Brooklyn, basically East New York, Canarsie, and parts of Brownsville. So it's a video that we call Legacy, and we're going to share that.
It's the Operation Power
Operation
video.
Power video. Okay, and we're going
Yeah.
to share that with you now. Yes, Operation Power. Thank you.
Operation Power stands for people organizing and working for empowerment and respect.
Operation Power is a grassroots social justice organization founded by local community stakeholders, which includes activists, organizers, and leaders who understand that the system as it is currently structured is destroying us and our communities.
The system, the capitalist system, one that promotes human greed over human need, one that promotes profit over people, needs to be dismantled. These local community organizers recognize capitalism needs to be destroyed and replaced with socialism.
Operation Power was founded in 1997 with the understanding that uprooting capitalism needs to begin locally. Operation Power understood that our communities are the perfect vehicle to dismantle this parasitic capitalist system brick by brick, and the economic, political, and cultural institutions and other systems in place in our local community infrastructure. Whether it's the local school board, community board, city council, state assembly, all represents mechanisms to control the destiny of our people.
In 1997, Operation Power launched the campaign Charles Barron for City Council that would lead to over 20 years of radical changes in the East New York community. These changes included over 20,000 units of housing affordable to our community, three $88 million schools, over $110 million secured and allocated for community parks, millions secured for library upgrades, and another $42 million for the construction of a new library.
Cultural programs such as the Juneteenth celebration, Kwanzaa programs, and reinterment of Sankofa Park, securing thousands of jobs for local residents.
We've secured political seats that include city council seat, state assembly seat, state committee person, male and female district leader, chair of the local community board members, campaigning and getting a judge from the community elected, county committee seats, block association presidents, tenant presidents, and much more.
And all this was done while being Black radicals. We are Black radicals, which means getting to the root causes of the problems challenging our community. We need to get to the root and not lose ourselves battling the symptoms of this vicious capitalist system, because we know revolution is the solution.
Operation Power believes in Black power for Black people. Black power is still needed and still relevant. Operation Power believes that Black radicalism is the only position we can afford to take.
getting to the root of our problem for revolutionary change. Operation Power believes in community control for Black people as the only way to get to self-determination and liberation.
Operation Power believes that we need to move to a more socialist system, a communal system that doesn't suffocate but liberates. With these beliefs, we take collective action for our self-determination and liberation by being a part of Operation Power.
Thank you so much. So now you have an idea of who we are. We're a grassroots organization, and we believe that all politics is local. We believe you start where you are, look at the issues in your community, and address them and get involved with them and resolve that. We also understand, of course, that we have a connection to our African brothers and sisters and throughout the diaspora, but we believe that you start locally. Again, Operation Power, voice for Black radical change. And that's what it is that we have been able to do. And the program today is moving from plantation politics to liberation politics and how to beat the Democratic machine.
Now, we encourage you, call somebody, because, you know, sometimes we talk a lot and we don't really know how to access power. So call somebody and say, tune into this, because we're going to lay out how we beat in New York City, in Brooklyn, New York, in East New York. We beat the most powerful Democratic Party machine in the country, the Kings County Democratic Organization. Now, when we say machine, we're talking about the elected officials, mostly we call them neo-colonial sycophants of the Democratic Party. That's those Black leaders, because, you know, Black faces in high places doesn't mean Black power, doesn't even mean Black progress sometimes. It just puts a Black face on white policies, colonial capitalist policies that create poverty and unemployment and crime and imperialism, wars abroad. Look what they're doing to Africa with all of the military bases built in Africa by America to exploit Africa's natural resources. Thank God for the Sahel Revolution and the BRICS organizations, helping the American empire decline rapidly along with the dollar. But we're talking local here. So we put together a method, a strategy, a tactic by using the Democratic Party primary to get rid of the sellouts, to get rid of those Black politicians who are doing the bidding of the Democratic Party. That machine has lawyers. That machine has Wall Street money. That machine has real estate money. That machine has the incumbents, and that machine has plenty unions. So we have to go against all of that. And guess what? We did it. We ran in 1997, got 4,000 votes to the machine's 6,000. 4 years later, we stayed out there and we won in 2001. We won. We actually won the seats. So I'm going to come back to you and tell you how to do that. I just wanted to pause for a moment so you can tell somebody, tune in, because Inez has some books that she's going to introduce that some of us have read.
Right. As we talk about, Charles was talking about, you know, getting involved and not just have the rhetoric, but to get an understanding of what it is that we're talking about, what the system is about, and how we can address that. And in the video that we saw about Operation Power, there was a reference to several books. And we want to call your attention to those books so that you can make your effort and make your way and make your commitment to go online and to get those books. The first book that we want to call to your attention is a book written by Charles Barron.
Thank you.
And it is called Speaking Truth to Power. And it is a collection of about 70, 80 articles that have been written over the time and speeches that have been made over the years, and it is grouped by the topics. The second book we want to call your attention to is It's Not You, It's Capitalism, a book written by Malika Jabali, an attorney and a student of politics and a journalist. And we just want to make sure that you're aware that she breaks it down and you'll be able to get a better understanding of capitalism and how you can respond to that. And the next series of books were written by Kevin Barron, and they are actually novels. And the first one is called Black Rising. Once you start, you will not close that book until it is finished. It really is. The next one by Kevin Barron is Black Rising, Home and Abroad. And it's a sequel. And the third book in the sequel is Black Rising, The Threat. All of those written by Kevin Barron. And we encourage you to go online, Barnes & Noble, where you'll be able to purchase those books. Thank you so much. Charles referred to the accomplishments of what we've done and what we are seeking to do. And we do have another video, which we're going to share with you.
And that video is called Legacy. See, what you're going to see in this video is the results of the work we've done. Inez is going to break down how we actually beat the machine. But in this video, you're going to see two things. One, we maintained our Black radical revolutionary ideology and delivered. You know, Amilcar Cabral, the great revolutionary from Guinea-Bissau, said, bear in mind, the masses, the people are not fighting for ideas in your mind. They're fighting for material benefits and a future for their children. So mask no difficulties, tell no lies, and claim no easy victories. In other words, the masses, as much as we need to raise their consciousness, revolutionary awareness and political consciousness, are you going to get me a job? Are you going to save my home from foreclosure? Are you going to bring crime down in my community and make it safe? Guess what? We did all of that. So in Legacy, we get a chance for you to see us in action. First, we'll be talking in the city council, straight talk, pull no punches. And then you're going to see all of the, or some of the accomplishments. After Inez is later on, we're going to show you how we beat the system. But look at Legacy and look what we've accomplished by being strong, independent, not dependent on the Democratic Party. They tried to give us money. Oh, when they felt we were going to win, we'll raise some money for you. You want to raise $10,000? We said, keep your money. We're going to raise it ourselves. Oh, we'll help you get on the ballot. We'll have our district leaders, sign petitions for you. No, we don't want no part of you. This is an independent structure, Operation Power, that took on the most powerful democratic organization in the country and won. Check it out. Legacy. To my colleagues, in my 12 tumultuous years with you, you've been very controversial. And I tried to keep you in line, but it was very difficult. I do want to say this, that I voted no for so many of your projects. And I will be voting no on some more today. However, I do appreciate that when my projects came before you, you voted yes.
Here we are in your office. I notice you have a stack of the various awards and stuff that you've gotten. They're just like sort of piled up over here. And instead you've got all of these maps and plans and models here in your office.
Right, I wanted to really turn this into an urban planning room. Because when I first came in, I had a vision for East New York. You know, East New York has a history of having burnt out housing, and arsonists burnt it down to get the insurance, and so that they could leave whites left, and blacks and Latinos now make up 80–90% of East New York. So we wanted to rebuild East New York with housing, with gardens, with parks, with new schools, and that's what you're going to see today.
Okay, so we're here across from Linden Plaza, the Linden Houses, this gigantic complex here. And you said this used to be a completely vacant lot, a lot of crime, a lot of problems.
Crime, desolate. They have to walk through this park to get to the train station across the conduit. And now look at it.
You put a lot of money into this?
Yes, I put about $4 million in. The Department of Parks put about $3–4 million in, and another group put about $1.5 million. So we teamed up on this and developed this whole area.
In a lot of ways, this is politics 101, right? I mean, you've got hundreds, if not thousands of votes, right? People right here in the complex. And you took what was an eyesore and turned it into an amenity for them at considerable expense, by the way, as well as brought in some new housing. So that's a couple of hundred new voters and so forth. Is that the sort of the basic politics that is?
Well, you know, be straight up with you, Errol, I don't even see it like that. To be honest with you, I don't think about votes when I'm doing this. I knew children didn't have a place to play. And that was my priority. With votes, I could have gotten those votes probably whether I did this or not. You know, just campaigning hard and doing some work. So my motivation was really, if you're going to get in office, do the job.
Okay, and what is the name of this park?
Well, formally, I put emphasis on formally. This is Gershwin Park, also known as Linden Park. We call it Sonny Carson Park. The mayor can't tell me I can't name a park after our activists.
Okay.
So now what we did with this park, this was all dirt. And I will put $3.6 million into this.
We are in PS 166, and this is one of the projects that you are most proud of.
Very proud of this. You know, we contributed $500,000 to this to get this renovated because we know that culture, we know recreation inspires academic achievement and academic success. This is a state-of-the-art recording studio.
And this is connected, this computer lab is connected. I have to tell you, I see 30 iMacs here. I've been in a bunch of computer labs in schools. I haven't seen any quite as nice as this.
All right, for East New York. But this is one of the, we want top of the line stuff. They help them with their music theory. So it's not just them going in there and just messing around. They know what they're doing. And we're very proud of this. I have these kinds of science labs and computer labs in most of the schools in my district.
One of the things we've learned from visiting some of your colleagues in the council is that when a council member says put millions in, that's often a multi-year process of trying to get it into a member item and then calling the agencies to make sure that they deliver.
So that's why I'm concerned when people come in to take others' place in office. They better know how this process works, or else you can give out. If you're a politician, which I am not, I'm an elected activist. If you're a politician, then you spread your capital money around so much so you can get reelected, but then you don't have any projects built because it's not enough. So I get about $2–3 million in capital money. I put it all in one project.
Okay, so this is the model. You showed us the model of this on the desk in your office, and this is the actual school, and it's just about ready to open, or is it open now?
It's open. It's open, and we have a science in there. We have a writing school that's coming. It's high school and middle school. And this was an $80 million project.
Okay, so where are we now? This looks like the center of a suburban mall, frankly.
Right.
What's
you wouldn't even believe you were in East New York. This is the Elton Street corridor. This is the town center. A part of the planning was to be able to have mixed usage. If you see on the top, we have the solar panels because we want to bring down the energy cost. And then on the bottom is retail. So all along the corridor on the bottom of this, we're bringing in economic development to go along with the housing. You can't just bring people in and housing and not have
places. They need a dry cleaner, they need a bagel store,
they need places to work, you know. So I just wanted to come before you to say that I will always be black, radical, revolutionary. I will always be a socialist, anti-capitalist, imperialist. I went to Cuba. I went to Venezuela. I went to Zimbabwe, brought the president to you, and you didn't appreciate it. Robert Mugabe, who's taken the land back from whites in Africa. For all of those who are my heroes, Evo Morales of Bolivia, these are my heroes. And Che Guevara, Fidel Castro, those are my heroes. The Black Panther Party and all of the members and the political prisoners. I wanted to come to you to say, that's who and what I am, and that's what I will always be.
Today, August 18th.
You can cut it there.
Honorable.
You can cut it there.
Boomy. Thank you.
See, now this was important. We wanted to show you that Black radicals, revolutionaries, you can get elected. You can beat this machine. I don't even wear shirts and ties, and they told me that was a requirement up in the state assembly. And I said, no, I'm not wearing it. I'm the first man ever to enter the assembly chambers without a shirt and tie. No ties around my neck and no ties to the system. So we had revolutionaries hired. Every council member gets $400,000 or $500,000 to hire staff. Who did we hire? May she rest in peace, my chief of staff, Viola Plummer of the December 12th movement, a revolutionary. Omowale Clay of the December 12th movement, a revolutionary. And I can name countless others. People on our staff were radicals, revolutionaries that now got a chance to get a decent salary and some health care. And because we beat them for so long, for 21 years, we beat Hakeem Jeffries, we beat Mayor Adams, we beat Letitia James, we beat Andrew Cuomo, we beat Governor Hochul, we beat Christine Quinn, we beat, what's his name, the billionaire, Michael Bloomberg. We beat all of them and said we are revolutionaries. You saw me talk my talk. That's in the city council,
That's right.
Not just at a rally. So we wanted to do this program to show you how you can beat the machine, and at the same time that you deliver all of this to our people. When I say I put in millions for this and we put in millions for that, that's your money.
Mm-hmm.
That's taxpayer dollars that we are demanding go to our communities. Not too many white communities can brag and say that they brought 3 new $88 million schools in, $16 million community center named after Prince Joshua Avito, a young boy who was killed in our neighborhoods by a deranged mental health man in need of mental health. We brought in thousands of jobs. Man Up, we helped fund Man Up, which was a violence interrupter team, Andre Mitchell and all the brothers and sisters in Man Up. We got them millions of dollars, brothers and sisters coming out of incarceration. Nobody would hire them. We did. Why? Because you got to do a power analysis. Power is the great equalizer, as Omali Escher tell us as of the African People's Socialist Party. So we got power. City council passes the budget, not the mayor. The city council determines what's going to be built on city-owned land, not the mayor. The city council passes all the laws. The mayor has to get a city council member to sponsor a bill if he wants that or she wants that bill passed. So we wanted to show you what the results can be, but now Inez is going to show you just how do you get there. It is not simple. You have to be dedicated, and you don't have to compromise any of your principles. We didn't. We're the only team in the history of New York State politics that has never been a husband and wife, African revolutionaries born in America to take over the political infrastructure of a community like Charles and Inez Barron did as power candidates. And Inez is going to give us a little something to show you how we went about doing it. And stay tuned, because afterwards, we're going to show you some of the victory celebrations. Inez?
Thank you so much. So you see what it is that dedicated, committed, radical revolutionaries can achieve in this system, the work, the accomplishments of what we can achieve for our people. So how did we do it? We have a program that we put into 4 segments. The first is getting started. The second part is getting on the ballot. The third part is getting out the vote. And the fourth part is celebrating, the celebration. So getting started. How do you get started in this? You've got to identify your target. You've got to define winning. You've got to have a candidate and a team that is committed. So you have to define winning. Are you in a race where you know that you got the ability to turn out all the resources? You have to be reasonable and realistic in setting your goals. So what we did was we had a 10-year plan.
That's right.
We didn't know that we would get it in the first go round, but we knew that we weren't just going to put in effort, get a result, perhaps not what we wanted, and go away. No, we said we have a commitment for a 10-year plan. So we were defining winning by saying in at least 10 years, we will get this office. Because we knew we were fighting the machine, not fighting the individual candidate that the machine was putting up, but the machine. And the first time that we went out, we didn't get the seat. We were still victorious because we came close. And the second time we did get the machine, the seat from the machine. So again, you've got to define your winning objective. What is your objective? For us, again, it was a 10-year plan to be able to win the city council seat. How do you do that? You do an analysis of the demographics. That's right. Who are the people? Where does the vote come out? How do we get more people? How are we going to target the people who are presently living there to get them to know who we are and what our program and our platform is and get them involved in that? So how did we do that? We became involved in our community locally.
That's right.
What were the issues that our community was facing? And for us, one of the issues was our public schools still had coal burning furnaces in schools. We said, oh no, our children already have high rates of asthma and other kinds of chronic diseases. We're going to fight and get these coal burning furnaces removed. We weren't in the office, but we were in the community. We were raising the issue. We're demonstrating. We're getting the PTAs and the school board, the local community school board, to say, no, we've got to get these coal burning furnaces removed. So we built a reputation in the community for fighting for our people. We fought against a wood burning incinerator that they wanted to bring into the community. Said no. They tried to bring it in Long Island and the community said no. They said, well, let's go to East New York. We'll bring it there. We'll fight them there. We said no. We organized with other local groups. We established the East New York United Front. Enough.
That's right.
ENYUF, East New York United Front. We came together with other organizations and we fought. We had demonstrations. We've had a lawyer on our team. You always got to have that legal arm.
Thing.
We had a lawyer on our team. We said to the lawyer, go find something that's already a law that will stop this. And that lawyer was successful in doing that. They had told us, so you're not going to beat them. You can't beat them. You got to, this is, City Hall's going to approve it. But we fought, we found the law. So you've got to identify an issue. So people now are getting to hear your name and associate you with the issues in your community. So all of that is going to help you select the candidate that best represents the work that you want to achieve and the results that you want to get. And you've got to identify your team, a candidate, the treasurer, campaign manager. Your treasurer's got to be squeaky, squeaky clean. Your treasurer's got to know what the rules and the regulations are and not have any kind of shady past or questionable decisions that would have people wonder, well, wait a minute, where's my contribution actually going?
Right.
Our treasurer at the time was 75, Miss Adeline Bunch. She stayed with us through the 20 years. She's now 96, and we have never, ever been cited and had to pay any fine to campaign finance. So campaign finance is where you have to register if you want to apply for receiving matching funds which at this point is up to 8-1.
Mm.
So you've got to have the team, you got to have your manager, the candidate, the treasurer, have to set up your office, open a bank account, file your paperwork with those proper agencies so that they will know, yes, you're running. People, you can jump up and say you're running, but did you register?
That's right.
Are you registered with the state? Are you registered with the city? And are you registered with the Campaign Finance Board? Strategy, your theme, your platform, all of that has got to be a part of your getting started. You've got to have your protocols for how people are going to give out literature, where they're going to go, and that's the getting started part. The second part, getting on the ballot.
Mm.
If you don't get on the ballot,
you don't have a campaign.
you're not going to be
That's
in the
right.
race. You
That's
can't
right.
be in it if you're not on the ballot.
Mhm.
So you've got to get a lawyer. You have to get a lawyer who understands campaign law
That's right.
and will be able to support you, guide you, prepare the petitions, get the training for the volunteers so that the volunteers know what they can and cannot say as they're gathering petitions, because there are strict rules and you don't want to have any kind of questionable procedure from your volunteers. So they've got to be trained. We had many, many volunteers, and they were truly volunteers.
Mhm.
We did not have the funds to pay people to go and get petition signatures. Some people do that. You're not supposed to, but some people do that and pay people by the page. You're supposed to have a team of people going out, following the rules and regulations and getting legitimate signatures from the people on the street. Our strategy was that we would go to homeowners, we would have walk sheets, which you get from the Board of Elections, which tells you the names of and addresses of persons who are registered with the Board of Elections to vote. So we did that, and we had walk sheets, and we had a strategy where we would go on the subway platforms and engage people as they were waiting for the train,
right.
explain to them, give them literature, talking about who our candidate is, what our platform is, what our theme is, and encourage them to sign the petition on behalf of that candidate. So that's part of what the getting on the ballot strategy is. You got to meet the deadlines. If you miss a deadline, you're not on the ballot.
That's right.
You've got to meet the deadlines and be prepared to have your petitions challenged. Have your petitions challenged. Our opposition challenged us the first time around. You know, they talk about Obama wasn't born in the United States. The candidate that was running against us said that Charles was not born in Queens,
Not
New
a
York.
citizen.
Not a citizen.
Wasn't a citizen. And we
Not
got
a citizen.
5,000 signatures, and we only needed 900.
But it was a strategy on their part
Right.
to make us spend money.
That's
They
right.
wanted to get into our funds because they knew we had limited funds, and we had to go to court for Charles to show his birth certificate.
Ain't that nothing?
So, but that was one. Now, the next part is getting out the vote. And getting out the vote, of course, culminates on election day. But getting out the vote is all of the things that you're doing leading up to that day. If you haven't done at least 7, 8 contacts with your petitioners and with the people, the residents in your district, you may not be able to turn around what it is
That's right.
that you're trying to do, which is to get them to know who you are, understand your platform, and support you during that time. And talk about you, talk about their neighbors, talk to their neighbors about you, getting the platform, getting some excitement there. And the way that we did that was we had lots and lots of literature, which we handed out. We had mailings, which we had mailed directly to the voters. We had, again, the list of people that we knew were voters. So it's not random. All of this is very strategic.
That's right.
All of this is very precise. You've got to follow the rules. You've got to know who your target is, where they live, knock on their door. There's an expression, door to door wins the war. And what you do is you get your walk sheets from the Board of Election, which lists the names and addresses of persons who are registered and who have voted, and you canvass them. You get their signatures to get on the petitions, and you canvass them. Hi, we want to know, have you heard about our candidate? Will you be voting for our candidate? Can we give you more information about that so that you'll support our candidate? And also, you may have specific events that you yourself will sponsor, We also say
That's
that you
right.
target going to the local community leaders,
Mhm.
going to the block association presidents,
That's right.
talking to them in their formats, going to the local churches, asking the pastor if you can talk to the congregation and explain what your program is. So all of those are strategies which will help you on that election day get out the vote. That is when all that's it. That's the piece of cake that you're trying to get, the vote on election day. And what we did was we had a strategy. We targeted specific polling sites.
That's right.
Based on an analysis of the turnout in previous elections. Where are your heavy sites? That's where you want to make sure you turn out your volunteers to be there on election day, passing out literature, encouraging people to vote for your candidate. You want to make sure that you have coordinators for the teams of volunteers. You're not just sending people out willy-nilly or randomly. No, there's a team there. We had like 4 teams. Each team had a coordinator. Each coordinator had 20 to 30 people on their team. They were assigned. We had the list of their assignments. People have been trained for how to give out literature on election day. Yes, train people how to simply give out literature, how to engage the voters as they're coming to vote, how to not be antagonistic if you get a comment that's not favorable. All of that is a part of the training that has to go into that. And then finally, celebrate. Did you win? If you set your goals to say, we're going to educate the people, you won. Turning out the vote, you've won. Did you get the seat? Perhaps you didn't get the seat the first time around, but you've got to celebrate. You've got to get the spirits lifted. You've got to have your community realize this is a protracted struggle. It doesn't always happen the first time around, but we've got a strategy. We're going to be here. We're going to be around. We're not going anyplace. Acknowledging the sacrifices, the work, and the commitment that your volunteers gave. And on that election day, we generally give some payment. Of course, you got to document all of that. Don't give cash. You got to write those checks. You have the documentation. You have to have timesheets, which will be validated by the coordinator to prove that those persons were there. And all of that is a part of what we did to have the winning strategy to get the vote and get the seat.
Now, let me tell you something. What you just received was what these consultants, these white consultants, will charge a campaign $4,000 to $8,000 a month for what Inez just told you. And remember, we're doing all of this and we're getting media attention. You know, in New York City, there's New York 1 and Brooklyn 12. They will run your activity all day long. It's not like getting on Channel 7, Channel 2, Channel 5. They have a larger audience, but you get 30 seconds and that's it. We got a lot of media attention because we know how to strategize to get that media attention. Robocalls, sending out those robocalls. You can send out to the whole voting district a 30-second message. And as Inez says, it takes all these different times. They got to see your poster. They got to see you in the morning. They got to see you going door to door, and it's best when you do door to door. Go with the tenant association president or the block association president, like Inez said. Because this, when I went around with Miss Bunch, she would say, "Hey, Hattie, open up the door. It's me, Bunchy. This is who we voting for," and that's it. Inez, excellent.
Thank you.
And what was presented, you need to get a tape of this, and this is what you have to guide. So now, we got the victory, and we've beaten the machine for 21 years. For 21 years. Inez spent 5 years in the state assembly and 8 years in the city council. For 13 years. She beat the machine 13 times. I did 12 years in the city council and 9 years in the state assembly for 21 years. Look at that. We're Black, we're radical. And remember, Inez said an 8-to-1 match. That means if you give our campaign $100, the city gives us $800. That's a $900 match. And look at our victory. Now, I want you to see that first year in 2001. Now, 97, we didn't get it. And we stayed out there for 4 years. We didn't put our head down. Oh, they beat us. We did the opposite. I got 4,000 votes in my first time ever running in 1997 against a powerful machine. They got 6,000. I got up in the morning with a flyer, a nice picture, and thank you for 4,000 votes. Went back on them train stations, went back to door. People thought I won.
That's right.
They said, wow, you're so excited. Did you win? I said, I finished second. There was only 2 people in the race. I finished second, but I got 4,000 votes. And look at the results. 4 years later, 2001, I got 4,900 votes to the machine's leading opponent, 4,600. We only won by 200-300 votes, but that got our foot in. And then in the general election, I got 14,000 votes to the Republicans, 1,000. And then the machine came back and got me again in 2003. This time we're getting stronger. 5,400 votes to their 1,154. Whipped them. Whipped the Republicans in the general. 2005, I got 7,585 votes to the machine's 1,000 votes. So this whole chart here shows thousands. Inez whipped them, 3,700 to their 1,500. And then Inez got 16,000 votes in the general. Inez won the assembly seat in 2008, got 28,000 in the general. Next. So this is the rest. These are all the tallies that we whipped them for 21 years. And look at this one, 11,000 votes to their 2,000. Look, Inez got 34,000 in one of the 34,000 votes. I got 37,000 votes in the general, all being Black, strong, and radical. Okay, that's our victory. So the first celebration, we're going to show Inez's video. Now, this is nice. All of the stuff we showed you, this is how it looks on election day. I love election day when we win. Hundreds of youth are in there, and check out our celebration.
And I just want to say, I give honor to God, who's the head of my life, for bringing us to this point and for getting us the victory. Because surely when God gives you favor, everything else just follows behind that. So that's first and foremost. And then secondly, I have to give great praises to my husband, Council Member Charles Barron. And certainly, so much of what I have achieved is because of the fact that Charles Barron has blazed the path and he has laid out what it is that a successful council person can do, maintaining their dignity and integrity and standing up and not bending over, not bowing and scraping knees. Charles Barron. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And we're going to be seeing more of Charles Barron. Yes, I'm taking his seat, but we're going to be seeing more of Charles Barron in the state when he moves on to take my seat, which is going to be vacated starting in January. So look forward to that. But I'm certain
you can cut it there, Olufumi. That was the celebration that we had in the office, and hundreds of young people got paid, and we had good meal, and I like to see them seeing us win. Then Inez can show the video where I won the state assembly seat, or I announced my running for it, and we won. Grassroots people.
Thank you, Olubunmi. We're going to ask you to bring up the video where Charles is making his announcement that he would be running for the New York State Assembly.
Charles Barron, on this day, Thursday, July 10th, 2014, declare my candidacy for the State Assembly seat in New York State. I can't wait to get to Albany because I'm upset. Got on my last nerve. Y'all know about that last nerve. How dare he not call a special election? This seat, that office over there has been closed since January 1st. That office should have been opened. Mr. Faulkner is here. He's been helping families out of foreclosure.
That's right.
That office should have been opened. But the governor didn't call a special election for 10 assembly seats, 2 senatorial seats. We should have been in Albany in February fighting for this budget. That office should have been open so we could have had some constituency services for our people. That's our money. You don't take our money and then don't open our office and don't pay the staff. Wait till I get to Albany. They're going to pay for that. Some people said that he did it because he wants to delay my arrival. Well, I want to let them know I was going to behave for 30 days. Now I'm going to act up the first day, the very first day. They told me I have to wear a shirt and tie to get in. I'm coming. I don't even wear dungarees, but I'm buying one pair just for that occasion. And a polo shirt, a torn one, making sure that I get in. We are going to rock that place because you know what? Got to let them know that in this neighborhood, all that I now spoke about, the housing, the parks, and all of that, this is important. They tell black people you got to go along to get along.
Yeah.
Be cool. Don't be too radical. Don't be too black. I don't know how to be somewhat black. And so when you get in there, Charles, learn how to play the game. I didn't come to play no games.
All right,
We came to get something for our people.
Thank you, Olabumi. So that was Charles's announcement that he was going to the New York State Assembly. And then, in fact, he went to the New York State Assembly. And when he was there, everybody knew, including the governor of the state.
Interrupted the governor during his great State of the State address, rocked the whole state. No one ever interrupted a governor during the State of the State. We're going to close it with these 2 videos. One, sometimes you run, as Inez said, not to actually win a seat, but to make a statement, make a point. Both of us ran for speaker. Now, we know that the speaker has so much power that these council members are going to be afraid to stand up against her. But I want to show you a video where I ran, and then Inez made an outstanding speech when she ran. Olabumi?
Sitting Speaker Christine Quinn will have some competition for her post in January.
I, Charles Barron, do declare my candidacy for Speaker of the City Council.
Democratic Council announced his bid for the Speaker's position on the steps of City Hall yesterday. Barron says it is time to end the Bloomberg and Quinn regime and bring New York City back to its roots of affordable living.
The City Council passes the budget, not the mayor. The City Council changed term limits, not the mayor. The City Council passes laws. The City Council determines what's rezoned. This is why we're running for Speaker, and this is why we need reform.
Quinn ran for the Speaker's seat without opposition 4 years ago. She is a heavy favorite to hold on to her position. Need the support of a majority of the 45 Democratic council members to win. We have reached out to the Speaker's office for comment.
We are back on the road to City Hall. After serving in the City Council for the last 12 years, my next guest will be term limited out of his job at the end of this month. He's never been shy about speaking his mind, and in the past, Bill de Blasio, whether it was while he was a fellow city councilman or while he was public advocate, or most recently, while he was campaigning for mayor. Here to talk about the transition taking place in City Hall and the race for Speaker of the City Council, Brooklyn City Councilman Charles Barron. Thanks for joining us. Good to see you.
Well, thanks for having me. I certainly appreciate it.
You are a member of the Black, Latino, and Asian Caucus, and you all had interviews today. You were talking with some of the candidates. Did you talk to all of the people who want to be speaker?
Well, we talked to some today, and we'll talk to some tomorrow. My concern, Errol, is the process and also the reforms that need to come that we started when I first came into the city council with the Fresh Democracy Council. Right now, as we speak, they're having public hearings. We started that public forums. But as we speak, I am certain that the county bosses who usually pick the speaker are now going to start negotiating with the Working Families Party and their leadership that is now trying to pick the speaker. We don't want to trade bosses. It's time for the Black, Latino, and Asian members of the city council to stand up. We don't want to sit here, because if you look at Queens, Crawley has 14 council members. Brooklyn, Frank Sedillo, has 16. There's 10 in Manhattan, 8 in the Bronx, and 3 in Staten Island. If Frank Sedillo can get 8 or 10 of his, because he's not going to get all 16, Crawley has a tighter reign. If he can get 12 of his, they got 20 right there. And then they go to Bronx and get a few. So what the Working Family Party do, and their leadership is Bob Masters, white male, Cantor, white male, Lipton, white male, and then they're putting forth Brad Landis, another white male, could sit down literally with 2 other white males and pick up a speaker. They may give a Latino or an African American the spot, but Queens traditionally gets the 2 most powerful positions. That's land use and the finance.
But you're very experienced.
Yeah. So this was interviews with New York One, and I broke down the process. Now we're going to hear a little piece of Inez's speech, which was phenomenal, and then we got to end it in memory of Assata Shakur, and we're going to lay out a whole program for her tomorrow on WBAI. We're going to dedicate that from 5 to 6 tomorrow on WBAI.org. You can check us out as we honor Assata Shakur. But Inez?
Yes, as Charles said, the speaker's position is a very influential one, and it's one that we knew we wouldn't get the votes to win, but we had to make a statement. No, we're not just going to be here and be silent. So we're going to play a part of that so you can hear. It's time for a Black speaker. In challenging situations, for models and for inspiration, I look to historical figures in similar contextual circumstances. 46 years ago, the radical Shirley Chisholm became the first African-American woman to run for president. She said she ran because somebody had to do it first. In her book, The Good Fight, she says, quote, "I ran for the presidency despite hopeless odds to demonstrate the sheer will and refusal to accept the status quo," end quote. Mrs. Chisholm spoke about the revolutionary possibilities of electoral politics. When asked if more women, specifically Black women, should become involved in electoral politics, she said yes. Quote, "Women in this country must become revolutionaries. We must refuse to accept the old, the traditional roles and stereotypes." She said, quote, "What made me decide for run president was that I felt the time had come that a Black person or a female person could and should be president of these United States of America, not only white men, and I decided somebody had to get it started," end quote. Her sentiments express my feelings that it's our turn for a Black speaker. Some members of the Black, Latino, and Asian caucus said that they had a preference for a person of color as speaker for the New York City Council, and there were several candidates. But when the Black candidates for City Council would not commit to come to this day when the nominations and selection for speaker occur, it erased all possibility for a Black speaker. I had declined a request to run, and it was not my initial intention to be a candidate. But the realization that there would be a return to the structure that had so well dictated who the nominee would be, created a void that compelled me to submit my name as a candidate. White men, white women, and a Latina had been speaker, but we have never had a Black speaker. In this, a city where Black, Latino, and Asian are the majority. Like Ms. Chisholm, I felt the time had come for a Black speaker.
All right, you can cut it there. The time had come for a Black. I was so proud of my wife.
Thank you.
And y'all need to hear it in its entirety. You can catch it at City Council website. But did a great job. We didn't get the seats, but we made the point.
Right.
And we was able to raise consciousness. So we've run out of time, but we say every week that power is the great equalizer. And this whole program was about you organizing for power, not just around issues. Remember, Black radical politics is getting to the root of the problem and not just the symptoms. So that's what this was all about. And we mapped it out for you, a blueprint for power.
Thank you so much. We hope that you've learned something and that you can apply that where you are locally. And we invite you to listen tomorrow to WBAI.org when we will have a program that commemorates the great work of our sister Assata Shakur.
And we say every week.
And that program starts at 5 p.m.
5 p.m. to 6 p.m. WBAI.org. Assata, we love you.
Yes,
Rest
we
in
do.
peace,
Rest
my
in
sister.
peace.
A powerful Black Panther, an indomitable African revolutionary spirit.
Yes.
You're going to be sorely missed, but guess what, my sister? We're going to continue your work. Rest in peace for a job well done. And as we say every week, the truth shall set you free. And power is the great equalizer. Black power.
Black power.
And we can play our last song as we go out. Revolution. That's Sister Big Jane.
Freedom, 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 Black revolutionary freedom. We rise up from the ashes, born of struggle and pain. In the shadows of the past, we won't be held in chains. Our ancestors' bloody cause for justice, for the truth. We march with their spirit, lighting up the darkest room. Fighting for Black revolutionary freedom.
All right, we can cut it there. Fighting for Black revolutionary freedom. See y'all next week.
Peace.
Peace.
Power.
Always.
Revolution.
Thank you, Olabome, for your technical support. You
Thank
were superb.
Thank you. Thank you.